Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull, and in today's video, we'll be breaking down the film of our newest commitment in Radarious Jackson, four-star wide receiver from Sheffield High School in Memphis, Tennessee, listed at 6'2", 180 pounds. We beat out a lot of programs for this young man. He's a stud, very, very raw, but he's a phenomenal athlete. But I think that he fits into our offense perfectly. Very excited about it. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into the film. All right, so first play with Radarious. What we're seeing is, okay, lined up. The number one thing, okay, and this is a little bit subtle, but it's extremely important. Watch the way that he's able to eat up this cushion between him. All right, so he's right here, and this cornerback right here. Okay, this is extremely important whenever you're running routes, especially in the college level, right? So we're going to see him go to work. Boom. Eats that cushion up quick. And right here, what we're seeing is, yeah, he's pushing off some. Okay, this is a quick little hitch. But at the same time, whenever you're playing in the SEC, you're playing college ball, it's very physical. You've got to show the willingness to be physical, and he's showing that right here. So he pushes off a little bit, but you love the speed, okay? You love the way he makes that catch. And then right here, boom, okay, let's start right over. Right here, boom, okay? At this point right here, okay, we're going to watch him go to work, catch the ball, boom, there. Watch him right here. Watch what he's going to be able to make this defender miss. That is just so important. Whenever you are playing on the outside, you got to be able to make people miss out in the open field. Makes two people miss, actually. And he's just extremely sudden. And then you see right there that boom, boom. All right. And so at this point, look at the separation that he's already created out of that break. That's extremely impressive for a player to be able to do this, even at the high school level. And now look at this right here. Okay, he's got a defender. Okay, this safety actually has the angle on him, and it doesn't really matter because he can make him miss very effortlessly. That's the biggest thing that I took away from that first play. All right, so next play is going to be another hitch, and this is good just for the continuity of it. But first off, he wants the football. He attacks the ball whenever it's thrown more to the inside, and he's going right back to the middle of that defense. And we're seeing that this defender was right there. But he doesn't care about that, right? Like, he's able to make the catch, and he makes that guy miss, again, inside of a phone booth. Gets up the field quickly, makes another person miss. And really, this right here could end up being that third person. And this one right here would be the fourth person. Let's see what happens. Boom, makes him miss as well. Okay, so then he's getting upfield. He's got great speed. Remember, he's 6'2", 180 pounds. All right, so on this play, we're going to see a little bit of a slant and go. So Radarious is going to come that way, right, where the arrow is going. But then he is going to break it back to the outside this way. And again, you can tell that he is maybe not the most well-versed at the wide receiver position. Doesn't like it's a lot of great coaching. This looks to me like pure raw athleticism. And then boom, at this point, what we're seeing is what we need. Okay, this is a 50-50 ball, especially inside of the end zone. He does have a defender on him. Can he high point this ball? Can he come down with it? Now, keep in mind, this is just high school, but the simple fact that he does and he high points that ball the way that he did, that is extremely impressive. Let's watch it again from this point. Right here, boom, okay, high points that football, and he catches the ball with relatively, no real effort put into it, okay, and he keeps his body. I mean, he's got about a yard from himself and the edge of the end zone right here. So that shows a whole lot of awareness and body control. Seeing him doing this, okay, seeing him doing this as a high school player that, again, is not necessarily very well coached, and it's just a very natural thing. It's beautiful. All right, so on this play, we're going to kind of see the exact same route. He's lined up a little bit more to the inside, and, it's just a little bit of a slant go. Just go to the inside, come back to the outside. But watch the way that this is another 50-50 ball. He gets in position right here in front of the defender. And what that ends up meaning is that, hey, now I'm here and I can make this catch. These are very subtle things, and it might sound like maybe I'm overemphasizing it, but it's so important. Football is all about those little things. Seeing him do this, as a guy that's not very well coached and he's doing it off of raw athleticism is extremely impressive. All right, so on this one, the cornerback comes over late. Looks like it's a little bit of a cover two. They're definitely double covering him. But the way that he's just tracking this ball is almost like these two defenders, okay, aren't even there. And he just runs right by him. So this just goes to show how good of an athlete he is compared to his high school peers. And I mean, great hands, gets into the end zone, shows really good speed. Here we got him playing safety right in the middle of the football field. Boom. What we're going to see is okay, this is Radarious. We already saw him, but this is the receiver that he's covering because that's the only deep threat. What you love to see as a player that is just playing off of instincts is that he's able to very effortlessly get back on top of the route. Some of y'all are asking, hey, can he play in the secondary? That right there shows you that he most definitely can. Again, I know I keep on saying this, but I had to drive this point home. He is a player that is not very well coached. You can tell this is very raw. Okay. You can see it. Now, I'm going to highlight him right here and watch him go to work out in the open field. This is another thing that's very impressive. You see how slow everybody looks compared to him out there on the football field. It's not necessarily because they're slow, it's because Radarious is a phenomenal athlete. All right, and here he's playing safety again, more in the box, but he finds a person that right there actually kind of just look like pure instincts because we do see that, hey, this player right here was actually wide open. But Radarious does a good job of reading the quarterback's eyes and decides to, hey, I'm going to pick on this person right here because that's where the quarterback is looking. Makes the interception. You can tell he's got really good hands. And then once he gets the ball in his hands, very dynamic, okay? You're not going to catch him, period. All right, playing back at safety again on this play 3 times in a row, playing in the middle of the football field, okay, doing a really good job because he's patrolling. He's kind of splitting the difference between this wide receiver that is coming to the inside and then this one is also coming to the inside. Boy, what you love is he's again reading that quarterback's eyes. Now, maybe some of it is coaching, but I think that a lot of it is just pure instincts. And we're seeing he high points the football, catches it high. And I mean, dynamic playmaker with the football in his hands. Doesn't matter if it's offense, defense, special teams. And we got him on the outside up here at the top of the screen. And this is just a straight go route, runs right past the defender. And again, we see 2 defenders on him. Another jump ball. We believe in this man. We know that he can make those catches. He does it every single time. It's impressive. Let's see it again in full speed, just so that you can see the way that he's able to make these plays. He's going to be a quarterback's dream, a coach's dream, a teammate's dream, period. Here, this is not even really a wildcat formation. It's just an empty set. He's lined up at quarterback. It's a designed quarterback run. Let's watch him go to work. Okay, boom. Follows his blocks very well. He's got great vision for a player that is more of an outside guy. A lot of times when we see great vision, it comes from the running back position. But this is a guy that can do it from the outside, and he's making people miss with so much ease. I mean, let's go back just to taste it. I'm just going to let this thing run all the way through so that y'all can get a good idea of what's going on here. Look, well, I said I was going to let it run all the way through, but I had to pause it. So look, 1, 2 people right here. Okay, we already saw that he made the first person miss right there, and he's going to follow his blocks, okay, to some degree. They didn't do a great job of continuing to block, but there's that speed, there's that separation. Look at this right here. I believe that's a cornerback. That's about 10 to 15 yards of separation that he's created from a player that was on the other side of the line of scrimmage compared to him. So extremely impressive to see the way that he's able to pull away from these types of athletes. And another one where he's lined up, this looks a little bit more like a wildcat, but it's still not necessarily that. It's more of not even an empty set, but he's lined up as a quarterback and it's a design quarterback run. Now, he's getting the ball back here. Pretty good job by his offensive line of blocking. But let's take a look at 1, 2, 3, 4. We could even call it 5 defenders. And really, even, I mean, you could call it 6. You could even call it 7 defenders that are ahead of him at this point. Okay. Now, boom, gets up the field. Okay, this player right here doesn't even want any parts of this. Standing still, but he kind of, makes a miss, but he runs straight through him. Now, at this point, look at the way he's setting up this quick little juke. Boom, bam. Okay, so actually that one wasn't even a juke. He just kind of ran through that player. So, I mean, he's obviously on a completely different level than the players that he's playing up against here in Memphis. And we know that there's some really good athletes, but the coaching for sure is just not up to par. But just seeing him doing this is something that I think will translate as he continues to get stronger in the college weight room. Back at the quarterback position right here. Okay, boom. Great vision. Okay, he's following his blocks very well, but look at how effortless he's going to be in his strides. Now, this man right here, he did just make miss. At this point, once he gets back to the outside, it's all about a foot race. But look at how smooth and fluid his stride is. That is next level. It reminds me a lot of a guy that I know most of us probably don't like as volunteer fans, but Percy Harvin. He's got that type of a factor to his ball game. And I mean, it's just beautiful to see. And I love the fact that the staff went out and was able to close on a play like this. In my opinion, so far, I think he's already underrated. All right, here he's back on the outside at wide receiver. Boom, quick little jab step to the inside. At this point, he's already won. Okay. You can't just let him go to work in single coverage because he makes people miss very suddenly at the line of scrimmage. We've already seen that. This guy right here should have been over the top trying to help out with the cornerback, but this is open for Radarious Jackson. And the ball is not thrown necessarily very well. There's a whole lot of space over here. Okay, I'm just going to highlight that for y'all. That the ball really could have been thrown to so that Radarius doesn't have to make such a difficult catch. Once it gets to college, that's where the throws are going to be. And we're seeing, boom, high points the football right there on the sidelines. What do we always talk about? Making those tough catches, making those 50-50 catches, especially on the sidelines. He's showing that he can do that. Again, I feel like this will most definitely translate to the next level. All right, and here he's back to the outside. He's going to run slant just like that. Boom. Okay, that's how that's going to look. Let's go ahead and let it play. All right. So I love the way that he kind of sets his routes up. Does a really good job of maintaining his leverage and getting inside this cornerback. Again, doesn't like it's a ton of resistance, but I feel like it's going to translate, especially seeing this. Okay. He's got, let's count them real quick, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys right around him. He's going to make every single one of them miss. And there's a fifth one that, really could have taken a better angle to try to cut him off before he can get to the end zone. But his speed is such that it just doesn't really matter. So that's extremely impressive to see a player be able to do this on any level. It really doesn't matter. I mean, boom, it makes the catch in traffic, and you can tell that there's no real cause for concern inside of his mind as far as, taking a shot from any of those players. Now, will that change once he gets to a higher classification on a higher level, playing in SEC ball? It could start to change, but if he just keeps his same mentality, he's going to be a stud. All right, and here lined up at the inside slot, gonna do like a little bit of a stick and nod, kind of a seam route. He's open here. The ball should have already been out of the quarterback's hands again in college. Everything's gonna work a lot more in Radarious Jackson's favor than it is right now. So the quarterback takes forever to get the ball out of his hands, throws it up way too high, and it turns into a much more difficult catch than it necessarily had to be. So now he's got to go up, high point this football in between two different players. But that is what you love to see for SC caliber wide receivers. All right, and here he is on punt return. Obviously, very effortless with the catch, but look at the way he's making all these people miss. Reminds me again a whole lot of Percy Harvin, who I could even go as far back as like a Peter Ward for those of y'all that remember him. He just has a very suddenness and twitchiness, quickness to his game that's so impressive and a great straight line speed to go along with it. I love what I'm seeing from him on film. All right, so let's go through Radarious Jackson's grades, starting off with athleticism. We're seeing the suddenness, we're seeing the quickness, we're seeing the burst with a whole lot of length, 6'2", about 180 pounds. Looks really good. He's very raw. I'm going to give him 5 stars as an athlete. Now on to toughness and physicality. We're seeing him kind of running through tackles, all right? We don't see a whole lot of blocking on this film, but I've seen some of his game clips, like full games, and yeah, he can most definitely block. He's a very physical football player. Maybe not, that upper tier, that upper echelon of physicality, but he is willing to get in to the mix. And also we're seeing him making those catches over the middle, which is really, really big. So I'm going to give him 4 stars right here on toughness and physicality. All right, so now for Radarius' route running grade. I love the fact that he understands that on offense, especially on the outside, you want to try to make the defense think that you're doing something that you're not. That's pretty much offense one-on-one, okay? Again, especially on the outside. But you can tell that he's not very well coached in how to technically run these routes, okay? The depth and things like that is not always proper, and you can kind of tell with the quarterback. He's not always putting the ball in the, necessarily right spots, and he's not really putting the ball up as early sometimes as he should. So I would say that Radarius has a very high ceiling just because coming in with a coach like Kelsey Pope, who is definitely going to teach you how to run those routes. And in this offense where it's pretty much all option routes, Radarius is going to be open, I would say, pretty much all the time because he's such a phenomenal athlete. But he's just not technically sound enough for me to give him anything more than a 3-star in this category at this point. But please make sure to keep in mind that he's going to be a stud once he gets up on campus and he learns how to run the routes from a technical perspective. And now for the final grade, which is going to be his hands. We're seeing him high pointing the football. It doesn't matter if it's on the sidelines, if it's in the middle of the field, if it's in the end zone. He's going to make the catches. He's got phenomenal hands, even if it's on punt return. So great athlete with really good hands. I'm going to give him 5 stars in this category. All right, so just to recap, we gave Radarius 5 stars as an athlete, 4 stars on toughness and physicality, 3 stars in route running, and 5 stars with his hands, which brings his overall blue chip grade to 4 stars. Now, I actually think, like I kind of touched on earlier, that Radarious is a guy that is going to end up performing a lot like a 5 star player, because you're talking about a player that literally has not been coached that great. He's pretty much thriving off of pure athleticism, and he's got all the proper tools, all the length, the speed, everything that you would want in an outside threat, especially in this offense. I just think that he fits it to a T, and I can see why Austin Price loves him so much. I'm very excited to see what he does up on campus once he gets around, better competition and a lot better coaching. But I also am very interested in what he's going to be doing as far as a specialist. Okay, so punt return, especially, think he can do a great job there, and kickoff return. Expect some fireworks from Radarious in that regard. Not quite sure when he's going to be up on campus. Hopefully, he can enroll early, because getting those extra reps is going to be critical for him. He's a guy that I think has the capability to contribute early on for our Volunteers. And I'm looking forward to what he's going to be doing, man, over the next 3 seasons for us, at least. Okay, he's a guy that I would say has first round potential written all over him. It just all depends on how much work he's going to put into it, and, how well he takes to the coaching. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank y'all so much for sticking all the way to the end. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other Volunteer fans, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.